10 years, 8 months, and 22 days. That's how long it took for MrBeast to become the most subscribed individual user on YouTube. But how long will he stay at the top? Can he hold the #1 spot forever?
I just don't know how to stop.
In the history of YouTube, only 10 users have ever held that title. Ray William Johnson held it for 564 days.
Being #1 on YouTube was such a great honor.
Ryan Higa for 677, Smosh for 750, and for a whopping 3,380 days, which is over 9 years, PewDiePie had the longest running reign by far. PewDiePie! Which ended on November of 2022 when MrBeast took the top spot.
And what do you have now, 90 million subscribers?
Across everything, we're closing in on 200 million subscribers.
Jeez!
Even though MrBeast was officially crowned the most subscribed channel at the end of 2022, most people considered him the king of YouTube by 2019, when every single one of his videos had more than 10 million views, something that no other creator had done at the time.
My #1 priority is entertaining you guys, being super original, really creative, because I know that's something that's really lacking on YouTube.
So what happens when you reach the pinnacle of the platform? Jimmy Donaldson, aka MrBeast, has had a meteoric rise, and his channel is still growing with no signs of slowing down. If anything, he's gaining momentum and accelerating. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter who you are, nobody can hold the #1 position forever. What goes up must come down.
But what goes up must come down.
Today we'll be going over what happens when creators get too big.
You can just like kamikaze your way to the top.
The impact MrBeast has had on his fellow YouTubers. Is it even possible for someone to challenge Jimmy for the #1 spot?
I'm gonna bankrupt you.
That scared me.
Before we hop into the next section, this is not a hit piece on MrBeast. I'm not attacking him in any way. This is an analysis of the current landscape of YouTube and the meta trends in content that he has created. Considering how much MrBeast is worth, this analysis of his strategy is $1 billion thought experiment.
You've been offered $1 billion for your YouTube channel.
Well, with all the companies, yeah.
When attempting to predict who's the next great one that'll come for the title at the top of YouTube, initially, no one is gonna see it coming until it happens, and then everyone will say it was super obvious afterward.
The thing is, it's like nobody saw this coming.
Dude, especially me in like the middle of North Carolina in a small town. I had like horrible acne, especially back then, really awkward. It's like people would have bet $1 million that I wouldn't be a YouTuber.
As an example, let's go back to 2019 when PewDiePie was the most subscribed YouTuber. He was racing towards a record-breaking milestone of 100 million subscribers. And at the time, MrBeast was his biggest supporter.
To subscribe to PewDiePie. PewDiePie. To subscribe to PewDiePie. Subscribe to PewDiePie.
During Jimmy's early days on the platform, nobody would have predicted that PewDiePie's biggest fan would one day surpass him.
I swear to God, since I've made my channel, I've always talked about PewDiePie.
The same thing is gonna happen to MrBeast at some point. Some young, unknown creator is gonna come up with a new blueprint for content that's gonna catapult them to the top spot. Who knows, it could even be you that's watching right now. It always seems impossible until it's done.
Like, I started making no money and like literally making $1 a day, and now we're the biggest YouTuber in the world.
Every person who's ever reached the pinnacle of YouTube has transformed the creative landscape. They are the tastemakers. They set the trends and create the culture. Essentially, they're influencing the influencers. Like this invisible hand navigating the direction of the platform, it's human nature to follow the leader. If we look at the previous channels that have topped the YouTube subscriber leaderboard, Smosh rose to the #1 spot by making comedy sketches.
Hi, I'm Anthony Padilla.
During their reign at the top, everyone followed their format. The meta at the time was creating short skits in their bedroom.
What's happening for him?
When Ray William Johnson burst onto the scene, he rose to the top of YouTube by pioneering one of the most popular types of content, the reaction genre. And now this type of content is inescapable on the YouTube homepage. And when MrBeast came along and shook up the platform, he popularized the game show concept and challenge genre.
I have 10 challenges and we have 10 people.
I'm gonna be giving random people my credit card.
If you make this shot, you win money.
This is $100,000 in cash.
With retention optimized videos that are hyper focused on keeping your eyeballs glued onto the screen. The information goes by so quickly you can't even afford to look away for a moment. With text popping out and flying at your face,
$10,000.
exaggerated sound effects, and non-stop rapid-fire cuts. This fast-paced, high-energy content has become the standard.
There are tons of people that just copy everything I'm doing on YouTube currently.
For MrBeast and the previous legends before him, the ones at the top of the mountain lead the way for others to follow. And every time a new creator ascends the throne, they shift the culture of the platform. These trends come and go. It's all a part of a pattern, a sequence of events that can be predicted. If you pay close enough attention, you can follow the breadcrumb trail and anticipate what's coming next. Cycles determine everything that the public is interested in, from fashion, to real estate, to internet trends, to tech, to crypto. Understanding cycles allow us to make better decisions because it gives us insight into the future. Using concepts from the Gartner hype cycle and applying them to social media trends, there are 5 phases. Innovation, the start of a new idea, concept, or strategy. You can do it! Peak, it reaches maximum hype, people hop on the bandwagon.
And then it's just like a slow trajectory down.
Trough, the decline, from oversaturation, too many people doing the same thing. Slope, a market rebound, recovery from the decline. And I'm back. Plateau, the new normalized state in the media landscape. If we look at MrBeast, he started innovating the type of content he's known for in 2017. He slowly improved and refined it over time to become his signature video style. The fast-paced, high-energy challenge videos.
Retention, 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 retention.
As he's gained popularity, people recognized that he created something special. They started to study his channel and imitated his videos. The more views he received, the more people copied him. Over time, the platform has started to fill up with MrBeast clones.
All these YouTubers will start trying to clone it, and then they're just going to become mini-me's.
And now we're at the point where the editing style he's known for has spread into different niches and genres. We're getting close to the peak of the cycle. And like I said earlier, what goes up must come down. Once we reach the top of the mountain, there'll be a decline, followed by a market correction to normalize the new levels of popularity.
And when somebody's at MrBeast level, which used to be way less, everyone assumes it can never get bigger. And what I'm excited for is to see who the next guy is that shows the next numbers. Yeah. Because it keeps happening.
Here's the thing, no one knows how long MrBeast can sustain himself at the peak. The time frame is unknown, but I believe there are some clues he's left behind, showing us that we're reaching the apex of this cycle. Before we start the next idea, if people are looking for a role model, I'm so glad it's MrBeast. He's done a lot of philanthropic work and pushed forward climate change initiatives.
Today, we will be planting 20 million trees.
He's given more back to communities in need and done more for the environment than most people in his position. Honestly, I think he's the best spokesperson YouTube has ever had.
You are their #1 brand ambassador. Yeah. Nobody at your level speaks about YouTube as glowingly as you do.
He's a positive role model for his young audience, and he's a great aspiration to new creators. With all that being said, in the next few points, I'm going to be providing some healthy criticism of the content cycle of YouTube and the role MrBeast has played in shaping the recent trends. The possibility of dethroning the king. Let's explore the idea that one day somebody could surpass MrBeast. But currently, he's so far ahead of other creators.
Like, Jimmy's so exponentially far down, like, the money path. Yeah, like, no one will ever beat him at the money game.
He's in a league of his own. Even the idea of someone coming close to MrBeast's level almost seems impossible. But we know that no one can stay at the top forever, especially in entertainment, where audiences are always looking for the next new shiny thing. When MrBeast pioneered the challenge video genre on YouTube, it started off as simple, low-budget ideas that he filmed by himself in his bedroom with a crappy webcam because he couldn't afford a camera.
I was getting no views, had no money, had no equipment. And so for the most part, it was just like, I was just trying to scrounge money so I could buy equipment. Learning how to editing, the pacing of the videos, like ideas, what's going viral, what's trending, what's hot. Especially back then, I had no idea what worked. I mean, I had to like self-teach myself everything.
And over the years, it slowly evolved into a high-production show with state-of-the-art equipment and sets that cost over $1 million.
Studio over there was a little over $10 million.
It's on the same level as some big-budget TV programs. It wasn't an overnight success.
It takes years upon years of uploading every single day.
It was a slow, gradual grind that took almost an entire decade.
I've been doing it since I was 11. And
really?
Yeah, so now I'm 23, and so it's just like, basically every year it's just gotten crazier and crazier.
And it'll be the same for the next big YouTuber that's currently making videos in their mom's basement on an old iPhone with a cracked screen, and in a few years will come up with a strategy that'll take over the platform.
The next MrBeast will not be making MrBeast videos, you know what I mean?
Let's look at some of the clues that MrBeast is taking his foot off the gas and slowing down on YouTube, leaving an opening for someone to close the gap. The idea that MrBeast is spreading himself too thin, taking on too many projects.
You have a mental breakdown. You're like, why am I doing this? Why did I push myself so hard?
His focus is being pulled away from the thing that brought him success. He's expanding into different industries.
We have Beast Burger, Feastables. We built this app. We had people put their finger on the app. So we're building other apps in the future.
There's nothing wrong with diversifying your business. It's a good idea to increase your streams of income. But if we're looking at it in the context of holding the #1 spot on YouTube, it's a slippery slope, gradually taking on more and more. Expanding into bigger and increasingly complex ideas, he's being pulled in too many directions.
Building this business is like cocaine to me. I just don't know how to stop.
Yes, I'm aware MrBeast has a massive team and he delegates many of the responsibilities to them, but he still needs to overlook everything. To keep his finger on the pulse and be aware of all the different projects, at the end of the day, all the big decisions still roll up to him. When YouTubers take on too many projects, their content always takes a hit. Either the quality or the quantity starts to dip. If we look at the history of YouTubers that held the #1 spot, there's always a moment when they overwork themselves by saying yes to too many lucrative deals. That's the moment their content starts to suffer, when they've strayed too far away from the path that brought them success. It's like the idea of a juggler. They can only keep so many objects in the air before it all comes crashing down. If we take a look at MrBeast's predecessor, PewDiePie, when he was at the top of YouTube, he was offered so many opportunities to make money and gain exposure to different markets. He launched a couple of mobile games, he wrote a book, he signed a deal with YouTube Red, and had multiple integrations with mainstream media. But all of that pulled him away from the main focus of creating videos, and it added so much stress that it eventually caused him massive burnout. From that, he also started a bad habit of drinking, which took him a while to recover from.
I used to drink whiskey every single day, and I realized I was getting addicted.
In the end, it led him to reevaluate his relationship with YouTube and his content creation process. Here's the thing, even though MrBeast has surrounded himself with talented people, the projects he's working on is bigger than anything PewDiePie or any other creator has ever done. He's really transcended beyond YouTuber. He's a business mogul that's spreading his reach across different industries. Think about it, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day, so the more projects he's working on, the less time he has for YouTube. And somewhere in the world, there's a content creator that's grinding only YouTube 24/7. They're putting in more hours and hyper-focusing all their energy on creating videos.
To be a successful YouTuber, you have to sit in your room, a solid 3 to 5 years minimum of just being a fucking loser and sitting in your room and just filming videos.
There are things outside of a creator's control that have a massive impact on the reach of their content and the people who watch it. 2 key items we need to discuss. Number 1, changes to the platform, and number 2, the public's interest. Starting off with changes to the platform, in the past couple of years there's been a shift in the social media landscape, a massive push towards short-form vertical content. Everyone knows TikTok reigns supreme in this arena.
I was hyping it up on TikTok.
It's the place where the next generation of tastemakers set trends. TikTok is the epicenter of popular culture, the breeding ground for viral content. It's the place where it's created and then it'll trickle down to the other social media platforms. YouTube knows it's losing its allure on up-and-coming creators.
YouTube?
It's no longer the place where internet culture is born. TikTok is pretty much stealing their lunch money.
Where's my money?
But here's the thing, YouTube is going to do everything in its power to engage with new creators and win them back. The company is going all in on shorts. They're making massive changes to the platform to incentivize the creators to leave TikTok.
What's your opinion on TikTok? People are saying it's going to overpass YouTube.
I thought the same, but YouTube Shorts, they've really taken some huge strides. Just as good, if not slightly better UI. Everything in the world is going to be like Shorts is it.
In the past year, YouTube has prioritized the Shorts format over its long form.
I don't think Shorts are that hard.
When you open up the YouTube mobile app, Shorts just start playing, just like on TikTok. On the home screen, Shorts are now mixed in with the regular video feed, and they've quickly rolled out Shorts monetization.
The crazy thing is, they have a goddamn rev split, and TikTok doesn't.
The line between Shorts creator and traditional long-form creators is being blurred. I'm not saying that a creator that only makes shorts is gonna beat MrBeast. That's just not gonna happen. What I'm pointing out is that there's an opportunity here for someone to come along and integrate the 2 different formats. There's a gap in the current YouTube strategies for connecting short and long form together.
I think what's best is that you make shorts very similar to your long form. So then I think you combine that and you can just supercharge the fuck out of your channel.
Where one funnels content into the other and vice versa. Currently, it's either their shorts are popping off or only their long form. Very rarely do we see both types of content do well on the same channel, where it's being executed on a consistent basis and at a high level. Anytime there are platform changes on YouTube, it creates a big wave, and people who can identify it early and seize the moment will ride the wave into superstardom.
I think a whole new wave of like Charlies and Addisons are gonna come up of the shorts.
To give an example of how shifts in the platform can make or break creators. Once again, we can look at PewDiePie. He benefited from the adjustments in the algorithm back in 2014 when YouTube changed its focus to watch time, where it heavily favored longer videos. And back then, the average length of a video was under 5 minutes, and YouTube really wanted to push the average up.
YouTube has very recently changed their payment format from a per view monetization system into a watch time monetization system.
Luckily for PewDiePie, this coincided with the rise of gaming content on the platform, since it was a genre suitable for the longer formats where they could create and upload videos consistently with lengthy watch times. The best example of this was the Let's Play videos, where gaming creators like PewDiePie were incentivized to upload minimally edited gameplay footage on a consistent basis, and the algorithm rewarded them.
I'm back in Minecraft.
But like all platform changes, there are winners and losers. Animation channels, on the other hand, suffered from the algorithm favoring watch time.
Animation channels were struggling big time
because these videos required a lot of work. Drawing and animating every frame takes more time compared to hitting record on gameplay footage.
The problem is, like I mentioned before, it's the pay to work ratio. To create an animation that takes 3 minutes can take months of work.
So animation channels were hit hard during this era. But guess who also benefited from YouTube changes?
Oh, 100%.
That's right, MrBeast himself took advantage of the moment when YouTube Creator Studio was launched in 2016.
I would just obsess, study retention charts.
For the first time ever, creators finally had access to the retention curve and other data points that gave them insight into how the algorithm behaved. MrBeast was one of the first people to take action.
When he started, algorithm was everything, and he knew the algorithm better than anybody else.
To apply data to his content, he studied thousands of videos, split tested strategies and theories through tons of trial and error. He led the charge for this new era of data-driven, retention-optimized content.
But I've just spent so many years just studying what does well, and I've seen so many hundreds of thousands of videos probably at this point.
He was an early adopter of YouTube analytics. This gave him an edge over the other creators at the time. Back in 2017, most creators didn't bother with their analytics. It was just fancy charts and graphs in the back end.
When you got started, there was no algorithm.
Right, because it wasn't no idea. I have no clue.
Yeah, we were never told that watch time was becoming so important. We were never told that click-through rate was becoming so important.
No, you're right. Yeah. It's just something, oh, wait, 2 years later, they're like, oh, by the way, you want to get watch time? I'm like, what? What?
They only started taking action when MrBeast came out and did interviews, and people dissected his advice and noticed how he would hyper-obsess over the data.
His approach is entirely based on math. And I don't know, like, what kind of fucking psycho genius?
But by the time these creators realized its importance, Jimmy already leapfrogged ahead of his competition. Those changes to YouTube in the past are similar to what we're seeing now with the current push towards short-term vertical content. YouTube's creating an environment and providing incentives for people who are willing to innovate, to step up and take advantage of this opportunity.
It's weird. I haven't heard a single person talk about it, but this is the first time where content can actually go viral on every single platform. You can make sub 1 minute vertical content and it go viral on TikTok, it go viral on YouTube Shorts, it go viral on Instagram Reels, it goes viral on Facebook. You can just do the same thing on every platform.
The other factor that's outside of a creator's control is public interest.
Do you think content, as far as like what people want on YouTube or just want on the internet, is going to change over time? Like, you know what I'm saying?
It 100% will change.
Right now, we're reaching a tipping point. A shift in content is coming soon. There are plenty of creators who've said they're sick and tired of the MrBeast meta on YouTube. Just to be clear, I'm not talking about MrBeast himself. I really respect Jimmy for his originality, but what people are getting irritated by is the endless amount of videos imitating his style.
Where it's just like retention, 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 screaming at the camera, screaming at the camera, screaming at the camera.
This wave of copycats all follow the same editing cadence, thumbnail design, and even similar voice tonality.
Going to win every single prize at one of the largest theme parks.
We're gonna try to win every single prize in this whole entire theme park.
Today, we're gonna win literally every single prize at this theme park.
Where instead of talking to you, they are straight up shouting every word.
The first one of you to leave this shower gets eliminated.
And it's not just commentary channels complaining, even Jimmy himself is getting annoyed with these people.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people who are just exact ripoffs of me, and it is annoying. Like, I don't care that you do what I do, it doesn't matter, but it's like, just in general, put your own twist on it. Because like, it does annoy people.
You know exactly what he's talking about. They are always in a hurry to complete a challenge.
My friends will be spending the next 24 hours and
break the most rules in 24 hours.
We'll be surviving 50 hours locked for the next 24 hours. And for the next 100 hours, for the next 24 hours.
There's a countdown going off for some reason, where they're artificially creating that feeling of being at the edge of your seat, making us feel mildly anxious the whole time. Everything is just driven to the extreme or exaggerated.
We're gonna be risking our lives attempting the world's most dangerous job.
The ideas are pushed to the edge of reality. It's all supersized and over the top, acting overly dramatic.
All by myself in the middle of nowhere, and I'm already so seasick.
With their hands flailing around all the time. And they all have the same picture in the thumbnail with this face that screams, "Please feed me, I'm so hungry." Where their mouths are open as wide as possible.
Say ah.
Here comes a big bite. Everyone's feeling exhausted from the sensationalized, spectacle-driven content. There are too many people doing the same thing, following the same cookie-cutter recipe. It just doesn't feel genuine and real. It's created this gap in the market for something different.
A lot of people, for some reason, have stopped taking inspiration and doing their own twist, and they just literally flat out copy what I do.
What's happening right now is similar to the scenario when MrBeast started to rise in popularity back in 2017. This was during the peak vlogging era, when all the big creators were doing it. Some were daily vlogging, and others even created a second channel just for their vlogs. This caused an oversaturation in this type of content. There were just too many vloggers. But then, MrBeast came along and changed everything with this new format. He popularized the challenge genre with this fast-paced editing style. It was new and refreshing at the time, something that was totally different from those day-in-the-life vlog videos. So back then, Jimmy was ahead of his time.
The pendulum was like over here, and this was like heavy personality based, like Casey Neistat, Emma Chamberlain, all of them, like they all came up. Then it swung over here, which is like heavy optimization, extreme cuts.
But now, back in present day, the MrBeast style of video has oversaturated the market. It's in a situation that's similar to what vlogging was back in 2017. The current YouTube meta is reaching the apex of the cycle, where it's heading towards the peak and then eventually the decline starts. It's the natural way of life. Nothing stays at the top forever.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do copy me, and it's fine, whatever, do it, but just know you're not gonna get to where I am doing that.
This is an opportunity for an undiscovered creator out there to produce a unique style of content that we haven't seen on YouTube, that's gonna change the game and cause a paradigm shift in the way people create stuff on the platform.
To do well over time, you just have to innovate and adapt.
Think about it. When Jimmy started back in 2012, no one knew who he was. He was doing challenges by himself in his bedroom. He then gradually upgraded the challenges to include his friends, and slowly, over time, it evolved into a full-blown game show with contestants and million-dollar prizes.
We gave him a shot at $1 million if he hit a hole-in-one.
Let's do a thought experiment to explore the potential strategies to challenge MrBeast. Who might be able to do it, and what that might look like. I'm not saying I got the solution, or that MrBeast is falling off. This isn't an attack on him at all.
We all need to calm down!
What I'm doing is speculating how someone could potentially enter the same arena and stand toe-to-toe with MrBeast. Think of it as a hypothesis, an attempt to predict what that future scenario might look like. I'm calling this the boy band theory. Hold on, let me explain. This isn't going to be about pop music, choreography, and teenage dreams. What I'm seeing in the social media landscape is this emergence of a strategy that's helping creators grow exponentially faster. And also, the daunting task of approaching MrBeast's level of success might require assembling a squad.
Do you think it's super important to have a group to be successful, like a group of people?
So the strategy behind the popularity of boy band and girl bands is strength in numbers. The odds of a viewer forming a parasocial bond is higher when there are more options to choose from. They can connect with any one of the band members. And we all know the power of parasocial relationships, especially with influencers. When compared to a solo artist, it's just one person, one personality, one archetype. And if you don't connect with them, then too bad, there isn't another option. That's why boy bands have stereotypical traits that are easy to identify with. For example, they always have the cute one, the edgy one, the leader, the athletic one.
You do have somewhat of a group, the people that you banter
of course
with.
we do.
If you've been paying attention to social media, we've been seeing the boy band theory work across all social media. On Twitch, with Kai Cenat, he broke the record and became the #1 most subscribed streamer in just over a year. He got his start on YouTube as a solo creator, grew a decent-sized audience on his own, but when he joined a group of YouTubers called AMB, SMP and moved into a content house, his channel subscriber growth blew up. He rode the momentum and used it to catapult himself to the top of Twitch. Another example is KSI and the Sidemen. They are one of the most successful collectives on the platform. Similar to Kai, KSI is a solo creator who had success on his own, but the Sidemen propelled him to another level and allowed him to branch out into other industries, restaurants, alcohol, fashion, and expand into different genres of content. The Sidemen helped each of the individual members reach new heights, but like all boy bands, there is always one breakout star that shines a bit brighter than the rest. By the way, I did a deep dive comparing KSI and Jake Paul's business strategies. You should check that out afterward. Another example is Charli D'Amelio. She was the #1 most followed person on TikTok in 2020 and 2021, and the first person to hit 100 million.
Cannot believe there's 100 million supporters following me right now.
She was part of a content house called The Hype House. This was a strategic plan to piggyback off their combined followers, pulling together all their fans to cross-promote amongst themselves to push their content to the top of TikTok's For You page. Here's the thing, Kai, KSI, Charli, they all would have been successful no matter what. But being in a group gave them the momentum that helped them get there faster and further. You gotta understand that momentum is one of the most important factors in growing a social media empire. It's the concept of pushing a snowball down a mountain. As it goes downhill, it gains traction and it grows bigger and bigger. Being in a group gives you a massive advantage over solo creators. The power of cross-collaboration allows you to ascend the ladder much faster. It's almost like a cheat code. It supercharges your content with momentum and launches it into the algorithm. It's gonna be extremely difficult for another YouTuber to catch up to MrBeast. He's in a league of his own. MrBeast is the Thanos of YouTube, and the best shot they got is assembling a group of creators.
Assembled the Avengers.
I don't think anyone is gonna dethrone MrBeast as the #1 YouTuber anytime soon. He's just too far ahead of everyone. But the early signs of his content cycle reaching its peak are starting to show, but we don't know when's the climax or how far is the horizon. One thing I know for sure is that whoever this person is that'll come along and challenge Jimmy for the #1 spot will be someone who's creating in his own unique way.
Because you're just never going to win somebody else's game, in my opinion, when they're like years and light years ahead of you.
It won't be someone who's imitating and copying his style. You can't out-beast MrBeast. You won't beat him at his own game.
The next MrBeast, quote unquote, is not gonna do what I'm doing better. They're gonna just invent their own lane. Like, you're just not gonna do what I do better than me. You're just not gonna beat me at my own game, and that's fine. You shouldn't. Like, I didn't get where I am by just beating someone else at their own game. I just found my own lane and innovated and adapted.
Please subscribe if you want to see more creator breakdowns. I really do appreciate you for watching all the way till the end. Thank you so much and have a great day.